Hi guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own Pink Power Ranger costume. I did some sketches and this is what I have. It's not the best sketch, but you know, I understand it, so it's okay. So what we're going to use is this pink fabric that I got at Joann's. It was like $5.99 on sale and it's about 2 yards. And it's what's jersey? It's like a costume fabric. Let me see. I think it's only a two-way stretch, so it's, you know, like most fabrics. But yeah, we're gonna be using this fabric today. And for the rest of the white parts, I guess I'm gonna go into the store and like see what I can find. But for right now, we're gonna use this and going with my sketches and my dress form here. My kids are gonna be Power Rangers this year, so just like last year. But I'm gonna be a Pink Power Ranger this year as well. So let's get started. I have this like little tape where I kind of like make my own pattern on the dress form, which is easier for me. And then from there, I get muslin and I do my little magic. But I just finished doing the pattern on the dress form, and it's really basic. It's just a top. Right now I'm doing sections, so right now I'm gonna just do the top part. Later I'm gonna do the pants and then the skirt, and they're gonna all combine together at the waistline. But this is my top. I'm gonna go to the waistline, and this is where my my turtleneck is gonna go, which is gonna be white, but I want to have the patterns down. Anyway, so remember to have a grain line. This is my grain line. Make sure it's straight. And the grain line is gonna go right here in the middle of where you have your pattern tape. At the place where you want to right now, because we're still measuring it out, so just cut a little bit below the waistline so that it gives you time, like, you know, fabric to move around. Don't forget your fabric shears. Alright, so I'm going to cut the excess just because it's too much fabric for me to work with and it's going to get confusing. So I'm going to just trim around a little bit, just a little bit. Alright, so you see the difference now? Alright, and I'm going to... Okay, so by cutting it in like little strips, it gives it more ease, so you can like play around with it and move it around if you want. Okay guys, so I finished it. It's pretty rough, but it's not too bad. So this is going to be my front piece, and I'm going to name it just so, you know, I have it, you know, correctly. So neck, center front, and it's going to be on the fold. So this is the grain line. This grain line is going to be on fold, meaning when you cut it out, it's going to be at the folded edge where it's uncut. That's where that's going to be. So that when you open it up, it's two pieces. One piece, but you know, it will be covering both sides. So, and then this is armhole, and this is a waistline, and the side front. Center front, side front, shoulder, armhole, neck, and waist. Now this is not my correct size. The dress form's a little bit bigger than me, but as long as I have this pattern, I can always measure my actual body and just put my measurements on there. So remember that if you're gonna be doing that, you have to take from here and from here as well. So you have like, you know, you're an inch smaller than this, you're gonna have to take about let's see, you can take either half an inch from here and from here, or you can do a third and take out like a third here in the middle and then in the side, depending how your chest is too. So you have to have the right measurements and see. But I'm just not gonna put too much thought into it. I'm just gonna do it. So we'll see how it comes out. Okay, so I have the front part done. Now I'm going to do the back part, and this is we're gonna do the pattern on this back part for it, and then I'll do the turtleneck part. Okay, already taped on. I didn't have enough tape, so I'm missing a little bit, but this is basically the pattern that I want, and I got my fabric, so we're gonna start pinning right now. You want the fabric to be as smooth as possible, let me tell you. No bumps, no lumps. So try your best to smooth it out, to have a nice smooth. Because remember, that's going to be on your body and you don't want it to be all lumpy on the back. So. And if you don't cut straight, that's fine, because you're going to end up straightening it out anyways in the paper pattern. So this is just the muslin pattern. Your center back, right? That's where your zipper is going to go. Your zipper is going to go from up the neck point, actually no, more higher where the turtleneck starts, down to your waist, because it's going to be a bodysuit, basically everything. So you want to get in and you'll have that space. So you have to open it up through the waist, maybe a little bit lower, maybe an inch lower than the waist, just in case you have big hips or something. So I'm going to do that. So this is center back. The zipper is going to go here. So remember, when you do the patterns, we're going to add the extra inch or half an inch, depending. I don't like to have extra fabric. I like to just put an extra half an inch for my zipper. Waist. This is a back piece. And with this one, you're going to do ×2. That means you're going to have a cut of 2 of these, right side up. Shoulder, neck, armhole, side back. I like to name everything just because I'm a little extra like that, but yeah, just waist, side back, center back, armhole, shoulder, neck. This is going to be on the grain, obviously, so the grain is going to be right here. That's going to be the grain. And yeah, it's going to be ×2, so you're going to, zipper. So I'm going to put zipper here, just so I won't forget. Zipper. Okay, so we have the front and the back piece done already. That basically covers your whole top. And I'm going to work on the turtleneck. I have finished the neck all the way around. That's going to be the turtleneck part. I don't want it to be too wide. Too long. Cover my whole neck. So it's just going to be a couple inches. Maybe I think it's about 2 inches. I'm not sure. No, it's an inch. An 1.25 inches. Not too bad. Alright, so we have a piece of fabric. Remember, grain line is always important. Alright, so I'm done. I'm going to take it out. That's how it looks. Front. It moves around too much, but center front. Don't forget the center back. Okay, and the grain line is basically this little front piece, the grain line right here. That's the grain line. So make the little arrow. And this is going to be placed on the fold, so it's going to be once, and then it's going to place on the fold to make the other piece. So place on fold, place on fold, center back, and this is going to be just, I guess, I mean, this is the easiest way to do a neck. I mean, you can do like the center front to the side seam to the center back if you want, but I don't want to have too many seams, and I don't want it to be too bulky around the whole neck. I mean, these things are basically just, we have one side seam, so we're going to do the same thing with this one. And the side seam is going to be in the back where the zipper is going to go. So it's going to look all like a collar, a nice collar. So it's going to be like that. All right, so we're going to put this as a collar. All right, so we have our piece. And remember, it's going to be on fold, so it's just one piece. You're cutting one on fold. All right, guys, so now that my pieces are cut, I am going to sew it up. But before you sew it up, you have to buy thread that matches your fabric. And if you don't have it, like me, I'm just going to use white thread. And top bottom too. So the bobbin has to have white thread, and the top one of the same thread type. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these universal ballpoint needles. And it's mainly for like jersey knits, for really stretchy fabric. And it doesn't penetrate through the fabric, but it goes around the thread, so it's a lot easier to sew. And I don't know if you, this is the sewing machine that I have. And so this is my tension up here. So I will keep it between 1.5. There you go. The stitch length is right here. So how long, how small you want it, or like how tight, it's right here. And then right here is just the regular, you know, if you want it zigzagged or, you know, embroidered, whatever. So that's what I do. And so I will be doing that about 3/8 along the shoulders. And then I'm going to go back to the zigzag stitch for the collar part. So I always do that. I always go back and forth because it's easier. I don't have an overlock machine right now, but if you have one, that's actually even better because you can just run through it and you don't even have to worry about the single needle stitch. Alright guys, so I am now putting my fabric patterns onto my paper. So I'm going to make paper patterns right now. I have both of them. Pencil, sharpener, my ruler. And I'm just going to trace this over this and make my take my measurements. You know, measure my shoulders, my armhole. Well, everything around here basically. I'm just measuring it for myself. And then I'm going to apply it to here. So I'm going to show you right now. So let me copy the pattern first and then we'll continue. Okay, so I have just finished doing the paper patterns. They're not my measurements yet, but this is how it came out. 3/8. Yeah, I added 3/8 of an inch around each side because I don't like it to be so, I don't like having extra fabric. So this is all 3/8 all around, 3/8. And I've named it after, you know, like my pattern pieces. The collar. And for the zipper part, for the center back, I added 1/2 inch. I need the 1/2 inch just to be extra sure. But same thing with this one, the back piece. I added the 1/2 inch here, and I'm going to cut 2 of these For the back pieces, I'm going to cut one front part because it's going to be placed on the fold. And so is the center front. I mean the collar. The collar is going to be placed on the fold, but we're going to cut 2 pieces because we need the outer layer, the fashion fabric, and then the lining, you know. If measuring yourself is a bit hard, all you need to do is just actually chew the pattern by making sure that both sides of the side seam, side front and side back, match. And the shoulder parts match the back and the front, they match, because when you sew them together then they need to be equal. That's an easier way to chew a pattern instead of just measuring yourself. You can just do that. We're going to be cutting it out of muslin anyways, our practice fabric. We're going to try it on, and from there on we can decide whether we need to take some more or add some more on. And so that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so I have finished chewing the patterns, so now everything matches. I had to adjust some of the sides and the collar. As you can tell, look. Had to adjust it because I was a bit short, so I added that, and I had to bring up the armhole and bring some more in. I mean, add some more to the side front and side back. So now everything matches, everything's great. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting. Grain line with your pattern piece. I am gonna use so this is gonna be on the folded side, so I already have it folded. This is the grain line right here, the folded part, and this is going to be placed on the fold. So since my pattern's on this side, I'm going to just flip it around and make sure that it matches. I'm going to pin it down and make sure that I have exactly at the right edge. And I don't like wasting fabric, so I like to leave it right there. You see that? I don't like to waste fabric. I try my best not to, because you can always use it. So this is where I'm going to cut it off from. And I'm going to do the same thing with the rest. For the cutting process, if you are more comfortable pinning them down with the pins, you can do that. If you're comfortable with getting a heavy weight and just placing it on top without pinning it down, that works well too. It depends on how you're going to cut it. So I am going to cut it with my little, what is this called? Roller cutter. And if you want to do scissors or shears, then you can go ahead and do that. But it works better when you have a cutter, because then you just put pressure, apply pressure with your, this is a quilter's block, ruler block. It's really thick. It's really thick and sturdy. So what I do is I just place it on top and just take my time with it. I don't rush it because of the curves. And you're going to get a really great cut because you're not picking up the fabric and moving it around, and since it stretches and it's not so sturdy, then you might cut off a little bit less or you have more extra. But with the cutter, you can actually, with the roller cutter, you can actually get the precise measurements, cut them really good. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And it avoids all the fraying and picking it up and just all that tedious work. So I'm going to cut it with this. You just got to be careful not to cut your finger off, because these things are really sharp, and when you're applying pressure, on your cutting board. I have a plastic thing. It's a quilter's. You can buy them in any store, and it's good for when you're cutting with the roller cutter. Alright. My pieces have been cut. Now what I'm going to do now, remember 2 pieces of these, 2 of these. So now what we're going to do now is I'm going to sew up the shoulders, front and back. And I'm going to sew up, let's see, what else am I going to sew up? I'm going to sew up the collar. I'm just going to do I'm going to connect them both from the top side. I have finished putting the pieces together for the shoulders. So I connected it here and the back, and this is how it looks in the back. It's going to be open because that's where the zipper is going to go. And remember, this is your own costume. I mean, it can be exactly the way the Power Ranger was back then, or you can just add your own twist to it, you know? So for my collar, what I ended up doing is so I realized that the collar is actually white, and I cut pink because I don't have white. So I looked through my stuff and I found some like sequins jersey. I don't know if you can see it. It's like super shimmery. Sequins. It's like clear sequins with white jersey knit cotton, and it's stretchy. And what I did was I just I like lined it up with the bottom, with the top part, the front part, and just folded the corner right here and top stitched it. Like you see, I'm gonna show you right now. See a little. I mean, I could have kept the pink if I wanted to, but it's gonna be too much of a pink going on. And since the costume is white, and I didn't have plain white, but I did have the sequins jersey knit, I'm just gonna go with that. So this is how it looks. The lining, the front piece with the other part. And since this fabric's really like thick and scratchy and stuff, I don't want it to scratch my throat and have it be uncomfortable all day. So it's actually good that I did 2 pieces. You see? So when I add it onto my dress form, it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be a shimmery white neck. I'm excited. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach both of these, well, actually all 3 of these pieces, the 3 pieces up here, with the top part up here, the top collar. So I'm going to start from the back, attach the center back pieces, and kind of go along and place it and pin it down. And then I'm going to do the zigzag stitch, the zigzag stitch first. And I'm going to do the single needle stitch. It's going to be a 3/8. Yeah, 3/8. And that should be the top part. And we'll be almost done with the top part. This is what I ended up with after I sewed on the collar to the top. So it kind of looks pretty good now. I mean, you can tell now, you know, you look at that. So I'm going to leave all this open because of the zipper. So the waist down to here, let me see if I can put it down a little bit. Down to here, like a little passing the crotch a little bit, like maybe 2 inches passing the crotch. And make a point, and it's going to go up to the hip. So it's going to be a bit of like a V-shaped. So it's going to go from waist down, straight down, and then like a V-shaped. And that's what I'm going to do to the front and back. Alright, so because I don't want my my skirt to be too tight, I can't just go around like this, otherwise it's going to be tight on my hip. I want a bit loose, so I'm going to like shift it down a little bit. Just bring it, tilt it down a little bit. You want to make sure that the waist, it's fitted, you know? The waist has to be fitted. And don't pull too much. Just, you know, just a regular, like, comfortable pull. You see? Can you see the difference now? That's a bit more loose. But you don't want it to be too much of like a circle skirt, you know? Or skater skirt, however you call it. But so, I'm going to tighten it up just a bit. See, maybe that's good enough. Yeah, I think that's good enough for me. It's like a little loose. You see that? A little loose. It's not too tight. Anyway, so you get the point. So from now I cut up to here, measured here to here, and now I'm going to take off the name it actually. I'm gonna write the name of it. I'm gonna write the piece name. So this is front piece. So the center front, side front, and this is gonna be the grain line. Grain line, and then the waist. And so I'm gonna now put in a paper pattern, or just from here actually. No, I'm gonna do a paper pattern. It's better because I still need to add the seam allowance. So remember the seam allowance is 3/4, 3/8. The seam allowance is 3/8. So 3/8, 3/8, and 3/8. No, not this one. Here and here, and this is gonna be maybe half an inch, maybe an inch, because I don't know if we're gonna double fold it back, or let's see how I'm gonna do a finish. But well, actually no, it needs a white trim finish. So just have a 3/8 seam allowance for the bottom part, the side front, and the waist. And so yeah, so just do the same thing in the back. Just, you know, measure out the back again, and remember that the sides need to match up, and it's going down to down here. So like going like an inch or 2 inches below the butt. So the butt's like basically right here, so this would be perfect. So it's just going down.